Today's episode of Parked and Present really hit home for me. The question of the day was, what is your biggest regret? I sat for some time, I thought about it, and my biggest regret was, and I think still is, allowing myself to completely lose myself in becoming a mother and a wife. In doing that, I totally lost who Medina was, and I'm still trying to find her. I'm trying to get my own identity back and remember that I was someone before I became a mother and a wife. Do I regret my children? No. Do I regret my husband? No. But all I'm saying is that I wished in that time I would have thought of me as well. So on today's episode of Parked and Present, I'm really excited to dig into some of these notes that we got to the response of the question of the day, which was, what is your biggest regret? And so let's dig into some of these notes. All right, so our first one is, my biggest regret is not loving and respecting myself sooner in life, being too afraid to say no, and walk away from people that meant me no good, all because I wanted to be loved. And I just feel like a lot of us can relate to this, right? We just want to be loved by people, so we kind of just do anything, and then we get home or we get by ourselves and we think did I really just give all of that up just for someone to try to love me? Because at the end of the day, they never, it just seems okay, so that response was it doesn't seem like you were just looking for love. You were looking for safety, belonging, and hope that someone would choose you. And those are normal human desires. We all desire those things. And I don't want you to spend your life playing for a role or auditioning for a role in someone else's story. The people who are right for you, they won't make you convince them that you are enough. Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying by that. People who truly want you and are for you and don't need you to force, them to love you, or you have to force them to love you. Whatever you give them is enough. Okay. Oh. This one, I know a lot of people probably feel the same way. I regret not going to college. This day and age, that's neither here or there. There's so many trades and so many people that I know personally that didn't go to college and they make way more money than me. Went to nursing school, became a whole nurse, and not that I don't make good money, but I know people who make more money than me and they didn't even go to school. And sometimes I'm damn, shit. Maybe I should go hold a sign up and flag people who go this direction, that direction. I don't know. I ain't talking bad about it, but, and I totally get the regret of not going to college. Some people regret it for different reasons. Some people regret it because they never got the experience to live in a college dorm room or, go to the parties, do those kinds of things. And then some people regret it because they want a different career path in life. But just not going to college can bring up a lot of different emotions, and not because of the degree itself, but just what it represented, the opportunities that you may have missed out on, and the confidence you may have had you had a career or a college degree, and a dream that never got the chance to happen. But do you regret not getting the degree, or do you regret not going to college? Do you regret believing it's too late? Because let me tell you something, education does not have an expiration date.
I know people in their 30s, 40s, 50s going back, getting different degrees or trades, certificates, because they thought that their dream job that they did go to college for previously, or whatever the case may be, turned out that it was not their dream job. But, don't spend the next 10 years regretting the last 10. So you could, 5 years from now, have the degree that you want. If you decide today, go to college, go get a trade, go get a degree in something. Just don't spend that time regretting it. Don't be in the same space in 5 years and be like, I regret that I didn't go to college. Like, do something. Even if it's not you going to college, choose something that you want to do for yourself, something that could benefit you and your family, and go out and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, education does not have an end date. It does not have an expiration date. You can go out and you can get the certificate, learn a new skill. It's just, the question is whether you'll be 5 years older with the same regret, or you'll be 5 years older with the degree that you decided to get. That's just how I feel. I don't know. All right, no, number 3. I regret letting others dictate how I feel about myself. In the 6th and 7th grade, people call me fat and ugly. Kids are cruel. So I doubted myself a lot, and I doubted my potential. And I'm now going into the 11th grade, and sometimes I still feel stuck on what others say. Kids are so cool these days. Like, literally, my son is 16, and I'm always like, you are growing up in the generation full of, like, people that just really, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. The girls is growner than the boys these days. The boys have no, like, potential. I don't know. I'm not talking about nobody kids, but I kind of am. I don't know. But as far as that goes, like, the people that say those things to you, most times they have, like, problems with themselves, and the way that they handle that is picking on other people. And not to say that it's right, but I just wish, like, the kids nowadays would know what we as adults know, because we used to feel the same way too, right? Bullies are everywhere. But the words that the people spoke to you, it seems like they became the words that you started to speak to yourself. And, the bullying just, that's the hardest thing about bullying. It doesn't just stop when the bullying stops, because then you start to bully yourself, right? Now you believe that you're fat. Now you believe that you're ugly. And just like when you're in the 6th and 7th grade, you're still trying to figure yourself out. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you want to do. You don't know what you want to be. So when someone repeatedly tells you, oh, you're fat, oh, you're ugly, it can seem like more of a fact than an opinion. And obviously those are opinions of other people. And sometimes they make those opinions in their head, even if they're not true, just to be a bully to you. You know what I'm saying? But now that you're going to the 11th grade, do things that you've never done before. Like, just be your most authentic self. Like, wear the outfit that you were too nervous to wear last year, or join the sport that you like but you were too nervous to join. Like, and spend less time hanging around people that make you question, oh, do they really like me? And spend more time around people that you ask yourself, do I like who I am when I'm around them? Like, that's what's most important, is that you're your most authentic self, and you're not hanging around people that make you feel like, you have to act and be a certain way. Be around people who love and respect you for who you are. Period. And yeah. Okay, so note number 4, let's see. I regret, I wish I would have focused more on me and less on chasing after the father of my kids. I'm laughing because don't we all? But Yep, and chasing after the father of my kids, I feel like I would have been so much more in life. I settled, and I should have stood up for myself. I wish I would have taken my education more serious. Same thing with the education, like, so it sounds like you're carrying the weight of hindsight, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, you're looking back with the wisdom that you have today and judging that version of yourself when you were younger. So that could be very, very heavy. You wish you would have known what you back then, what you know today. And that happens to a lot of us. And I know you would have wished you would have focused more on yourself, instead of fighting for someone who wasn't fighting the same way for you. And that goes for a lot of us. A lot of us just give ourselves up for men. A lot of women do. And we end up with nothing at the end of the day. We end up having to completely start over. And that can really be tough sometimes. And it sounds like you wish someone would have told you that choosing yourself wasn't selfish. It was necessary. You had to choose yourself. You know, you didn't just lose out on time, you lost out on opportunities. You just lost pieces of yourself. And it's not that you regret loving the father of your children. You just regret who it made you become. But it sounds like you've grown to be a person with a lot of wisdom, and so hopefully you can continue to grow and know that you can still be so much more in life. What you had in the past does not reflect who you are today. Like, the same thing with the education. Go back to school if that's what you choose to do. Go get a trade, do something, and it doesn't always have to be about education. You could just get a certificate and do something and be something else to say, okay, I got this under my belt too. Just do something more positive to make yourself feel better about who you are. And don't just, reflect on the past, because that's not who you are today. And for everyone out there, like, who regrets the same thing, like chasing after the father of your children, you gave up your whole life, and your kids don't need a mother with a perfect past. They just need a mother that shows them that it's never too late to choose yourself. You made mistakes in the past, we all do, but just continue to show your children that it's okay to move on. It's okay to make mistakes, but as long as you learn from them and don't make them again, that's okay. They're looking for a mother that chases her dreams, writes a new chapter, starts over. And sometimes the greatest lesson that parents can teach their children is not in what they say, but it's like what they finally have the courage to do. Like, your children are going to look at you like, wow, like, my mom really did something with herself. She went back to school. She, moved on with her life. Kids don't rarely judge their appearance. Like, my parents been through a lot, and I love them both to death. That's their business, right? So that's the way your kids are going to feel about you. I love my mom to death. I love my dad to death. I know their history, but that's not that, as their child, that wasn't for me to handle. That's their business. All right, let's see. Let's do one more. This one already hit home so hard. It says having a child at 17. Now, as everybody knows, I had my first child when I was 15. So just reading that first line was like, it just hit me hard. Having a child at 17, I put all of my dreams and aspirations to the back burner, and they were never thought of again. I think that was the mindset of my village. It was like, you're a mother now, forget all of that foolishness. I wish someone would have said it's possible to have it all. I'm so glad I chose that as the last note. That feels so heavy for me. That really hit home for me. And not that I didn't have a great village. My village was awesome. They wanted me to help me as much as I could so I can finish school and become something. And I'm really proud of who I am today. And I really think that my son is proud of who I am, you know. But I feel like what you're describing, because I went through it myself, is a form of grief. And this form of grief, a lot of people carry quietly because you don't want to say it out loud. You don't want to say, like, you know, I regret having a child at 15 or 17, because you don't want people to think that you regret your kids. It's not that. It's not grief because you don't love your child, but grief for the version of yourself that you never got the chance to see or fully exist, right? And you can love your child with your whole heart, like obviously we do, but it's just mourning the dreams and everything that you had to set aside to become a teen mom, right? You chose that. There were options, but you made your bed, you laid in it. That's what I thought, you know. And at 17, you're still growing up. Definitely at 15, I was still growing up. You know, it's hard being a child and having a child yourself, obviously. And it's such a tremendous responsibility that a lot of people don't think of. So, you know, somewhere along the way, people taught you that becoming a mom meant disappearing as a person, because you said your village, just their mindset was like, oh, you're a mom now, like, yeah, that's it. And you know, it just wish someone would have said, like, you know, your dreams, your passions, your education, your ambitions, they were not selfish, they were not unrealistic, they were simply just postponed. Just because you were a teen mom, like, everything was postponed. And hopefully you moved on and you realized, like, okay, I need to do these things for me and my child for us to have a better future. And yeah, that's the mindset that I had, even though I didn't have a village that was like, okay, just be a mom, like, you know. And I wish someone would have looked you in your eyes and said, your life is not over. The baby is becoming a part of your story, not the end of it. You know, you may have to take a different route to get where you need to be, because you have to take this baby along the way. It may take longer, but you're still allowed to dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, go to college. This is for any teen mom out there right now. If college is what you want to do, go to college. If getting a trade is what you want to do, get a trade. You know, but go to college, start a business, learn a trade, travel. So with that, just continue to be a wonderful parent. Teen parent, adult parent, any parent. Just continue to be a wonderful parent, and remember, like, your child does not need a parent who gave up on themselves. Just because you became a parent, don't give up on yourself. They need a parent who shows them that it's never too late to grow. And that's the mindset that I kept when I became a teen mom, because I never wanted to be the teen mom and my child grow up and say, oh, I don't have this and that because my mom was a teen mom. Like, no, like, I want to make sure you have the best life possible. And, you know, it could just, I understand how hard it is, and you lay up at night thinking, like, oh, when my child is 10, I wonder what things will be like for us. But, you know, in closing, I just want to say this to remind everybody. Sometimes the strongest thing someone can do is admit that they're not okay. And with that, meet them with compassion, not expectations. Meaning, let them handle their emotions how they choose to handle them and what works best for them, so they can move on from things and choose to become the person who they've learned a lesson from. And hopefully everyone can understand that. Like, when someone is coming to you in a moment of weakness, don't expect them to be strong. Like, don't meet them with expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like, just meet them with compassion. That's all that they need, is someone to be there. And sometimes the only thing people need to do is just talk and get it off their chest and say it out loud for it to feel real enough for them to know, okay, I'm not okay. It's time to move on from this. Really, sometimes that's all people need. But with that, today's question was really tough. And to those who responded, I'm very grateful. And I hope the responses that I gave were good enough for you guys to understand what I was trying to say. And I definitely appreciate all of the followers, everyone who watches the channel. And I just really feel great that I can reach one person at a time. You know, even if it's just one person, I'm just glad to touch someone and let them know that I'm here to talk. Parked and Present is just about that. Sometimes people just want to talk, and I'm here to listen. If you need advice, I can give you that too. But thank you for watching another episode of Parked and Present, where I'm parked, I'm present, and you're heard. Have a good night.